A penny in your pocket right now could be worth more than a brand new luxury home. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? But history has shown us otherwise. In the world of coin collecting, hidden treasures lie in plain sight, and one of the most astonishing examples is the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln cent. A coin that, at first glance, looks ordinary. A coin you could easily mistake for spare change in a tip jar. Yet in pristine condition, it has been known to sell for staggering amounts, with some reports of market sales reaching as high as $872,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a penny. Now, before you shake your head and dismiss this as a collector's fairy tale, let's dive into the mystery. Because once you understand why this coin exists, how it came to be, and why it's still shaking the numismatic world today, you might find yourself digging through your own jars, drawers, and boxes of forgotten coins with a sense of urgency. After all, what if the fortune you've been searching for has been sitting in your home all along? The story begins in the turbulent 1960s, a time when the United States Mint was under enormous pressure. Coin shortages plagued the economy. The public hoarded silver coins as their metal value began to rise, and distrust in the system was brewing. To combat the frenzy, the Mint made a drastic decision. From 1965 to 1967, no mint marks would appear on U.S. coins. This meant Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco all produced coins stripped of their identifying marks. It was a controversial move designed to discourage collectors from stockpiling coins by location, and it left us with a peculiar situation. Every Lincoln cent from 1967 carries no mint mark. But here's where the twist begins. Not all 1967 pennies were created equal. Most of these coins are ordinary, the kind you still see battered and tarnished in circulation. But the small fraction struck with precision, preserved without a scratch, and graded at the highest levels. Those are the unicorns. Those are the coins that can command tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands in auction houses where collectors wage bidding wars that feel more like high-stakes poker than coin collecting. One specimen, in top mint state condition, shocked the market when it sold for an eye-watering $872,000. And suddenly, the humble penny transformed from pocket change into a golden ticket. But wait, let's pause for a moment. Think about this. How many 1967 pennies have you seen in your lifetime? How many have slipped through your fingers without a second thought? What if one of those could have been the jackpot? That thought alone is enough to send a chill down your spine. And this isn't just hype. It's a story backed by numismatic history and real market demand. Collectors aren't just buying coins. They're buying stories, they're buying scarcity, and they're buying the chance to own a piece of history that few others will ever touch. Now, here's where it gets even more fascinating. The 1967 penny isn't rare because of its year. Millions upon millions were minted. It's rare because of condition, strike, and survival. Out of those countless coins, only a microscopic fraction survived untouched. Imagine the path of a coin minted in 1967. Tossed into cash registers, jangled in pockets, scraped along vending machines, clinking against other coins for decades. The odds of one escaping that brutal life and remaining in flawless, uncirculated condition are astronomically low, and that's precisely why collectors will pay a fortune when such a specimen surfaces. Think of it like diamonds. Most diamonds are flawed, but the ones that sparkle without imperfection are the ones that drive record-breaking prices. The same is true here. A 1967 Lincoln cent graded MS-67, MS-68, or above is essentially a diamond in copper. It glows with flawless luster, sharp detail, and no blemishes. And in the auction room, that glow translates into cash, sometimes jaw-dropping amounts of it. But here's the catch, and this is where you need to lean in. The vast majority of people who own one of these coins don't even realize it. They sit forgotten in old jars of wheat pennies, in dusty dresser drawers, in inherited collections from grandparents. People sell them off in bulk, not knowing that a single coin in that pile could pay off a mortgage, cover a college education, or even fund a retirement. That's where the danger lies. Ignorance can cost you a fortune, and that's why you need to know exactly what to look for before it's too late. So, how do you know if you've got a winner? First, check the date. 1967, no mint mark. Simple, but don't stop there. Next comes condition. Does it have sharp details? A glossy, original red luster instead of the dull brown we're used to seeing. Any scratches, spots, or wear immediately lower the value. But if your coin looks almost brand new, untouched by time, then you're entering the realm of possibility. The next step is grading, and that's where professionals come in. Services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, turning a suspicion into a certified treasure. And trust me, collectors pay a premium for certification. An ungraded coin might fetch a few bucks. A graded MS-68 1967 Lincoln cent? That's where dreams come true. Now let me throw another curveball. Did you know that error coins from this period are also highly sought after? Doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets. These mistakes slip past the mint and end up in circulation, making them even rarer. A 1967 penny with an error, combined with high-grade condition, can multiply in value dramatically. Imagine the excitement of not just finding a rare date, but a rare error on that date. That's like hitting the lottery twice in one ticket. And speaking of the lottery, let's address the elephant in the room. Could one of these coins really make you a millionaire? The answer is yes, but with nuance. Not every 1967 penny is worth 6 or 7 figures. Most aren't, but the few that are can completely change someone's financial life. And here's the truth that should make your heart race. Those coins are still out there. They're not locked away in vaults. They're not all accounted for. They're hiding in circulation, in collections, in estates waiting to be rediscovered. The next record-breaking sale could come from someone like you, someone who didn't even realize they were holding on to a fortune until they looked closely. So what does this mean for you right now? It means opportunity, but it also means urgency. Every day, coins are being melted, lost, or sold in bulk without inspection. Every day, potential treasures disappear forever. If you've got old pennies lying around, now is the time to act. Check them, study them, protect them. And if you suspect you've got something extraordinary, get it authenticated before it slips through your fingers. Let me ask you this. How many opportunities in life come with virtually no cost? You don't have to buy a lottery ticket to play this game. You already have the entry. The coins are already in circulation, already in your hands, already in your home. The only difference between those who cash in and those who miss out is knowledge and action. And right now you have both. You know what to look for. The only question is, will you take action? Or will you let your fortune hide in plain sight? Imagine just for a moment finding that perfect 1967 penny. You send it in for grading, your hands shaking as you package it. Weeks later, the results arrive. MS-67, MS-68, the kind of grade that makes headlines. Suddenly, you're no longer holding a coin. You're holding a piece of history, a ticket to financial freedom, a story you'll tell for the rest of your life. Collectors line up. The bidding begins. And the numbers climb higher and higher until you realize your penny, your ordinary little coin, has just turned into a life-changing sum of money. That's not a fantasy. That's reality for those who dare to look. And the most thrilling part? The next success story could be yours. So here's the challenge. Tonight, when you get home, open those drawers, those jars, those forgotten boxes. Look for 1967. Look for condition. Look for the glow of possibility. Because the truth is, fortunes don't always come in shiny envelopes or winning tickets. Sometimes they come disguised as the most ordinary thing in the world. A penny. And when you finally find it, when you finally hold that piece of hidden wealth in your hand, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. The 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is more than just a coin. It's a reminder that history, rarity, and value often hide in plain sight. And for those who are willing to search, to believe, and to act, the rewards can be life-changing. So go ahead. Start searching. Your million-dollar penny might just be waiting for you. You're holding a simple penny, the kind most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the sidewalk. Copper, worn, forgotten. But what if I told you that this humble coin, a 1971 Lincoln cent with no mint mark, could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, in some cases even climbing into the realm of millions? Suddenly that little brown disc in your pocket doesn't feel so ordinary anymore, does it? Now here's the shocking part. In recent years, one of these pennies, yes, the exact same type most people dismiss without a second thought, reportedly sold for an astonishing $886,000. Think about that for a moment. A coin worth just 1 cent at the grocery store suddenly transformed into a financial windfall that could pay off a house, fund a retirement, or cover college tuition for your kids and grandkids. This isn't folklore. This isn't a fairy tale. This is the reality of the 1971 no-mint-mark Lincoln penny. So what makes this particular penny so mysterious, so valuable, so capable of turning loose change into life-changing money? To answer that, we have to journey back into the early 1970s. The United States was in a period of dramatic change. The Vietnam War was raging. Inflation was creeping into everyday life. Trust in institutions was beginning to falter. But amid all this turbulence, at the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, something unusual was happening on the production lines. Every Lincoln cent struck in Philadelphia carried no mint mark. It's one of the quirks of U.S. coinage history. While Denver coins proudly bore their D, Philadelphia coins in this era were typically left unmarked. At first glance, there's nothing unusual about that. So why does one penny, produced in a sea of billions, stand apart as a treasure capable of commanding 6 or even 7 figures at auction? Here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. Some of the 1971 cents weren't just ordinary strikes. They were double dies. In simple terms, that means the coin's design was impressed more than once onto the die used to strike pennies. The result? Letters and numbers appear doubled, thickened, almost as if the coin itself has a shadowy twin hiding in plain sight. On a normal penny, Liberty is crisp and clean, but on the rare doubled die obverse version of the 1971 cent, the letters show dramatic doubling. The date, 1971 itself, seems etched twice, frozen in a ghostly echo. This isn't just a minor quirk for collectors. This doubling is dramatic enough that it can be spotted without a microscope, and that's why this coin became a legend in the numismatic world. When collectors see doubling of this magnitude, their hearts race. It's like finding buried treasure in the open. But here's the kicker. Out of billions of 1971 pennies produced, only a tiny fraction display this doubling. They're hidden among pocket change, coffee can stashes, and dusty jars of coins sitting in American households right now. Which means, quite literally, you could be holding one without even realizing it. Think about the suspense of that for a moment. How many times have you tossed pennies into a tip jar, or left them lying on the counter, or even vacuumed them up from under the couch cushions? Every single one of those could have been the penny that changed your life forever. The one that turns spare change into a 6-figure payday, and this isn't speculation. Collectors have confirmed sales reaching staggering heights. One pristine top-condition example of the 1971 doubled die penny reportedly fetched $800,000 to $66,000 at auction. Why so high? Because condition is everything. A coin with visible wear is still valuable, sometimes thousands of dollars. But in the rare cases where the coin has survived in near-perfect condition, untouched by decades of circulation, the value skyrockets into the stratosphere. It's almost poetic, isn't it? A coin designed for everyday use, tossed through cash registers and piggy banks, suddenly elevated to the level of fine art. Instead of Van Gogh on a canvas, you've got Lincoln on a cent. And yet, in the eyes of collectors, the rarity, the doubling, and the condition make it just as valuable, sometimes even more so. So how do you know if you've got one of these golden, or should I say copper tickets? Start with the date. You're looking for 1971 with no mint mark under the year. Then look closely at the word Liberty on the left side of Lincoln's portrait. On the rare double die obverse, the letters appear thick, bold, with unmistakable shadowing. The I in Liberty looks almost like it's been printed twice. The word "In God We Trust" across the top of the coin will show the same dramatic doubling. Even the numbers of the date itself can appear doubled. It's important to note that not every smudge or blur is the real deal. Pennies get scratched, dented, and beaten up in circulation. What you're looking for is consistent doubling, letters that are doubled in the same direction, the same style. When you see it, there's no mistaking it. And here's where the fear sets in. Imagine finding a penny like this only to spend it accidentally at the gas station. Imagine vacuuming one up or throwing it in a Coinstar machine, only to see it vanish into obscurity forever. That's the silent tragedy happening every day. Rare coins lost because people don't know what they're holding. But now you do know. You're armed with the knowledge that a coin as ordinary as a penny could hold extraordinary wealth. And that should change the way you look at every cent that passes through your hands. Now, you might be wondering, how many of these coins actually exist? That's part of the intrigue. Experts estimate that only a few thousand of the 1971 double die pennies are out there. And in the world of coin collecting, that's incredibly scarce compared to the billions of normal cents produced. Scarcity fuels demand. Demand fuels price. And price fuels life-changing opportunities. Picture this. Somewhere in America right now, someone is sitting on a jar of pennies inherited from a grandparent. Inside that jar, there might be a 1971 double die cent worth more than the car in their driveway, more than the house they live in. The coin is there, waiting to be discovered, waiting for the right pair of eyes to recognize it. Could those eyes be yours? This is where the excitement builds. Every single day, collectors and treasure hunters comb through coins, searching for the telltale doubling. Some find nothing. Others find a prize worth a few $1,000s. But every once in a while, lightning strikes. Someone discovers a coin in top condition, a coin that makes headlines, a coin that turns ordinary people into overnight legends in the numismatic world. And here's a little twist. Did you know that the 1971 double die isn't even the only valuable penny from that era? Other double dies, transitional errors, and off-center strikes exist, but none carry quite the same aura of mystery and allure as the 1971 no mint mark double die. It's the crown jewel, the one that inspires both envy and obsession among collectors. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you actually looked closely at your pocket change? Really looked? Not just counted it out, but inspected it, searching for the details that could make the difference between 1 cent and $100,000. Most people never do. Most people will continue to let opportunities slip right through their fingers. But you don't have to be most people. The clock is ticking. Every day, rare coins vanish from circulation, melted down, lost, or simply tucked away forever. The window to find one is narrowing. That's why urgency matters. If you start looking now today, you put yourself in the race. You give yourself a shot at discovering what others overlook, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next story whispered through the coin-collecting world. The person who found fortune in a penny. The one who turned a copper coin into a life-changing reward. So the next time you hear the faint jingle of coins in your pocket, don't dismiss it. Don't shrug it off, because among those coins might be the one that changes everything. The 1971 no mint mark Lincoln cent double die obverse is more than just a penny. It's a reminder that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places. That treasure doesn't always come in the form of gold bars or pirate chests. Sometimes it comes in the form of a penny, resting quietly in your palm, waiting for you to open your eyes and recognize it. So here's your challenge. Tonight, go find that jar of pennies. Dig through your change drawer. Look carefully at every coin. Ask yourself, am I overlooking a fortune? Am I letting history slip through my hands? Because if history has taught us anything, it's this. The world's greatest treasures often hide in plain sight. And the next time you hold a penny in your hand, it might not be worth 1 cent. It might just be the key to a fortune that changes your life forever. In the world of pocket change, most coins are forgettable. They pass through our hands without a second thought. A penny dropped in the car cup holder, another tossed into a tip jar, another buried in the folds of an old jacket. But what if one of those pennies wasn't just worth 1 cent? What if it was worth hundreds of thousands or even millions? Imagine paying for a coffee with a coin that could change your entire life. That is the story of the mysterious 1972 no mint mark Lincoln cent, a humble coin that has shocked collectors, dealers, and ordinary Americans with sales that have soared as high as $857,000 in pristine condition. This isn't a fairy tale. It's a real chapter in American numismatic history. And the most haunting part? There could still be more of these treasures hiding in everyday change. Somewhere in a desk drawer, a forgotten piggy bank, or a jar of pennies shoved in the back of a closet. One of the most valuable cents ever struck by the United States Mint might be waiting. Now let's slow down for a second, because I can already hear the question forming in your mind. How could a simple penny, produced in the millions, possibly command the value of a luxury home or a lifetime of retirement savings? The answer lies in the strange world of minting errors, rarity, and the fierce competition of collectors willing to pay unimaginable sums for history encapsulated in copper. The year 1972 was an ordinary one for most Americans. Gas was cheap. The average house cost less than $30,000, and Lincoln cents were struck by the billions. But tucked inside that enormous production run was a peculiar mistake. At the Philadelphia Mint, where coins carry no identifying mint mark, a small number of cents were struck with what collectors call a double die obverse. In plain English, that means the die, the metal stamp used to imprint the design, had shifted ever so slightly between strikes, creating a coin with doubled letters and numbers. Look closely at Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date 1972, and you'll see the ghostly shadow of a duplicate impression. This was no tiny smudge. On the strongest varieties, the doubling is dramatic, bold enough to be spotted without magnification. That's the hallmark of a great collectible coin, a mistake that is obvious, undeniable, and extremely rare. Only a fraction of the billions minted show this error. And scarcity plus demand equals value. At first, these coins slipped into circulation unnoticed. A few sharp-eyed collectors spotted them, word spread slowly through numismatic circles, and by the late 1970s, the coin had become a legend. Fast forward to today, and that legend has grown into jaw-dropping auction results. One example, in immaculate condition, sold for an astonishing $857,000. Think about that for a moment. $857,000 for a single cent. Suddenly, it's not just a coin. It's a ticket to a new life. But here's the real kicker. Thousands of these error coins may still exist out there. Not in museum vaults, not locked away by billionaire collectors, but hiding in plain sight among common pennies. If you're over 30, there's a good chance you've already handled one without knowing it. Some may be sitting right now in coffee cans of change from the 1970s, just waiting to be rediscovered. Isn't it unsettling to wonder how many fortunes have been accidentally spent at the corner store? Now let's clear up one common confusion, because collectors love their details. You might have heard of other rare 1972 cents, like proof coins or small varieties with subtle doubling. But the star of the show is the 1972 double die obverse with no mint mark, the version from Philadelphia. This is the variety that has set the numismatic world on fire, and the market has shown time and again that condition is king. A worn, circulated 1972 double die might fetch a few $100s, not bad for something pulled from a penny jar. But the best preserved examples, graded by professional services with perfect or near-perfect scores, are the ones that skyrocket in value. That $857,000 sale? It wasn't just luck. It was the convergence of rarity, demand, and flawless preservation. Here's the suspenseful part. You don't need to be a professional coin dealer to identify one. With nothing more than your own eyes and a bit of patience, you can search through your change and spot the doubling. That means the opportunity isn't locked away behind auction houses or insider knowledge. It's right in front of you. And every day you let those old pennies gather dust, you might be leaving a life-changing treasure undiscovered. Still skeptical? Let me ask you something. If someone offered you a lottery ticket with better odds than the actual lottery, would you take it? That's essentially what hunting for a 1972 double die penny is. Unlike lottery tickets, which vanish in an instant, your coins are already sitting in jars, wallets, and drawers. The cost to check them? Nothing. The potential reward? Up to nearly $1 million. And here's another twist. Stories of everyday people cashing in big keep surfacing. Retirees who sorted through boxes of old change during spring cleaning. Grandparents who finally cracked open the piggy bank their kids abandoned decades ago. College students who stumbled on strange-looking coins in circulation. Ordinary people living ordinary lives who discovered extraordinary wealth in the smallest denomination of U.S. currency. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The coin we value least, the one we ignore, drop, or leave on the sidewalk, could be the one that makes us rich. If that doesn't give you chills, it should. So how do you take action? First, gather your pennies. Every jar, every old wallet, every coin tray. Don't underestimate the forgotten corners of your home. That's where treasures tend to hide. Next, examine every 1972 cent carefully. Look at the date. Look at the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters look doubled or shadowed, you might have struck gold in copper form. If you think you found one, Don't rush to sell it at a yard sale or to your neighbor down the street. Protect it. Place it in a coin holder. Avoid touching it with your bare fingers and get it evaluated by a professional grading service. That's the gateway to unlocking its true value. Remember, condition can mean the difference between a modest payout and a life-altering windfall. Now here's where urgency comes into play. The market for rare coins is hot right now. Collectors are hungry for treasures and prices have been climbing steadily. But like any market, it won't stay that way forever. Coins come and go, collections change hands, and trends shift. The opportunity to capitalize on a find like this could fade. So if you've been procrastinating on checking your change, today is the day to start. And don't think for a moment that only the rich elite can benefit from these coins. History shows that many of the greatest numismatic discoveries came from everyday Americans who simply took the time to look. The 1972 no-mint mark double die penny is a reminder that wealth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for the curious, the persistent, and the lucky to claim it. So let me leave you with this question. When was the last time you looked closely at a penny? Not glanced, not tossed, but really looked? Because the next time you do, you might not just be holding change. You might be holding a piece of history worth a small fortune. In a world obsessed with chasing money, fame, and power, it's almost ironic that the most overlooked coin in our pockets could hold the key to financial freedom. The 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln cent has proven itself to be one of the most valuable and electrifying coins in modern American collecting. And it's not just a story for the elite. It's a story for you, for me, for every person who still believes that hidden treasures exist. So don't walk away from your pennies. Don't dismiss them as worthless clutter. Because somewhere, in the sea of copper coins we ignore every day, the next $857,000 penny is waiting. And maybe, just maybe, it's waiting for you. The hunt begins now. Will you be the one who finds it? Or will you let history slip through your fingers? The choice is yours.